Happy Sunday, except it's not Sunday. This is going to be the One Take Sunday video though. I wanted to talk about something very specific. Something that I was thinking the other day. I want you to have a bit of a think about like a thing that you want to achieve that's not realistic, right? What, like, be unrealistic. Be totally unrealistic. What? Think about a thing. I'm talking like at Skaka. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say you wanted to build you like cooking, right? And you wanted to build a series of restaurants. But all you know is how to cook. It's what you know, it's what you love, that's why you want to do this. You love cooking, but you want to scale it and be able to cook for everybody, you know? You got no idea about business. You got no idea about scaling business. You got no idea about, how to, what cuisines actually make for good restaurant building versus what doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what's involved in building a restaurant. Great example. Think about the resources that you would need to get that done. Think about the resources that you would need to start promoting. Think about the resources that you would need to achieve the thing, right? And the blocks that you have. Number one will always be money, right? And time. So let's not think in terms of money and time. Let's try and be specific. If you wanted to learn how to open a business, you'd need the information. You'd need the infrastructure to do so. If you wanted to learn how to do... Girls, leave it alone. Girls are sniffing the car. Anything. My point is anything. Anything that feels like a block. Be specific about it. And then realize, hang on, I have access to a lot of that. And I just sort of don't realize it. I'll give you an example. I always wanted to build software, right? I loved design. I still love design. Software design is one of my favorite things. How people interface with software, how they will press certain buttons, what's the quickest way to achieve this in an app or whatever. I loved it. But what I didn't know, what I struggled with, the blocker for me was always, I don't know how to program. I don't know how to code. That's why early in my Salesforce career, I really loved, there was a builder called Flow Builder. And it was ultimately what made me fall in love with Salesforce, is because I could click and drag and connect elements together and not really need to code. So that was how I bypassed an early blocker. And now today, we've got AI. So I can use AI to rapidly learn concepts, rapidly learn architecture, and then get it to write the code for me. And I kind of just review it, make sure it does what it's supposed to do, make sure it conforms to the best practices that I understand. And I can, there's a blocker removed. That was kind of my point. That was where I was going with all this, is maybe what you thought was a blocker, or what was a blocker a few years ago, is now gone. Maybe a lot of the things that are stopping you don't actually exist. Maybe anymore, maybe at all. Maybe you've told yourself that they matter. I've recently been trying to wrap my head around and understand a bit more about Elon Musk. You know Elon Musk. The guy, just a fascinating guy. I highly recommend. I'm actually making my way slowly through his biography at the moment. But something that I heard and really sort of got me thinking was he had a passion for, interplanetary travel. And it started from video games, which is fine. I got no problem with video games. I like a good video game. But he decided, after he sold what was PayPal, he had a bit of money. He was trying to figure out his next venture. And I'm particularly focusing on that area of his life because I feel like I'm getting very, very close to a similar area of my own. I've done so much of what I wanted to in the Salesforce space. I really have. I'm working for the company that I wanted to work for. I have achieved a lot of what I wanted to achieve. And I'm at a crossroads where I'm looking at the next decade, because I'm about to wrap up, my third decade. And I'm trying to figure out what's next. And it's making me look at people who have hit a crossroad of their own. And like I said with Elon, he wanted to overhaul finance, and he did to a degree. Not the way he wanted to, actually. Interesting story, look into it, but he did it. And then he just decided, I think it's a sad future to look at the human race as a single planetary species, And he wanted a future where humanity could venture to Mars, venture to wherever, and set up colonies on other planets. Stuff that seems crazy. Stuff that, we certainly didn't have the resources for back when he was thinking about it in the 90s. But he was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. And even if we fail, I'm going to try and move the needle forward. I'm going to identify what blockers I've got and make a solution for them. One of the things he tried to do is he tried to purchase some old ballistics missiles from Russia, decommissioned ballistics missiles. He goes, you keep the nuke, I just want the rocket. And that didn't happen. And they're asking, crazy amounts for the rockets. And he decided, surely there's a better way to build these things. And so he borrowed some textbooks, did a lot of research. And after getting knocked back on a bid that he made to buy a rocket, he was on a plane back and he turned to a colleague and says, what if he'd drawn up while he was on the flight his own solution. He goes, I think we can come in and we can build our own rocket for significantly cheaper, and here's what it looks like. Guy that, coded obsessively, played video games obsessively. When read, oh man, the amount the guy read is I think that's where I'm dropping the ball, because I've never been a good reader and I'm trying to become a better reader. But anyway, so instead of getting stuck in, oh gee, it's rocket science, that's pretty advanced, he decided, okay, I'll learn rocket science. And when starting SpaceX, one thing that I remember him saying was, the really good engineers didn't want to join us, and those who did want to join us weren't so great. So I decided I was going to become the chief engineer. Guy with, no rocket science background, no experience in the field, just decided I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to educate myself in such a way where I will be the best option for chief engineer of a rocket company. I really admire his ability to see a problem and become the solution, not find the solution, because sometimes the solution doesn't exist. That's something that I've learned. And I think it's exciting, and it makes me. I've spent a little bit of time. I had an episode on Friday where I just went into a bit of a downward mental spiral, a pretty aggressive one actually. I haven't had one that bad for a little while. And I didn't sleep Friday night, and I didn't sleep very well on Saturday night either. But it gave me a lot of time to think, to figure out what are the problems that I want to solve that have been impossible. And I have an idea. Stay tuned. I've been praying about it too. I really want, whatever I do, I want to align with what God wants for my life. And I think I have received some confirmation, but I want to be really confident as well. So I'm going to keep praying, and I would request that anybody who watches this also would be praying. But anyway, not just for me, but for anybody watching this, think of a blocker and that is stopping you from achieving something, and have a look and consider, is it really a blocker? I don't know this. Okay, cool. You can now outsource knowledge. We've got, off-the-shelf free AI tools. You want to learn something, you can just ask AI. You can dynamically learn. This is something I'm trying to teach in my career at the moment, is you can dynamically learn now. It's not just follow a course or read this. You can ask an AI, hey, here's a circumstance, here's a situation, how would I achieve it using this tool that I don't know? And it can work you through how to wrap your head around something in a contextual manner. Dynamic learning, it's powerful stuff. So you can learn quickly. You can also ask tools like AI to do things for you or do things with you. So maybe resources that were impossible or were not available to you before kind of are now. Just something to consider. I've been yapping on for 10 minutes just looking at this beautiful timber. I just picked up some fresh firewood this morning. It was a little bit damp from the rain, so there's no rain, there's no clouds in the sky today. Yeah, just have a bit of a think about what resources may actually be available now, what that means for things that previously seemed impossible or unachievable. They might be a realistic thing for you, and you've just got to, from this point, sort of take it, run with it, stick to it, make a decision that you're going to make something happen, and then follow through. It's a crazy world we're living in. I'll leave you to it. Happy Sunday. Bye.